Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to see you again. Today we are going to be receiving our class this way because I am not gonna be able to teach you in the normal periods. But please follow each instructions in order to work correctly. So we are going to start with English. So first of all, we will go to English and we will work on this. Pay attention. So first of all, we are going to have over this in our class. There you go. So pay attention to this part. Over here, when you go to the site, you are going to be finding the site of today. That is Wednesday, October 10th. You have to print this PDF. I already put it there. So you have to print this for the class and it will be helping us for one of our periods, okay? These three worksheets. That's the only thing that we will do. Then you are going to open this site and it will directly take you to this part. It says, pictures to upload today, the story before and after. You will understand this later. And the printed worksheets already completed. So today we are going to edit and revise the story that we did. Do you remember that we work on a legend, a myth, or a fairy tale, or a trickster tale? You decided what to write last week. So today is for you to revise it and edit it. But how do we do it? Take out your story, please. Take out the story that you created. In this case, I will take an example that is the story of El Sombrero. I will take it out like this, but you already have your own story, okay? You already did it. So first of all, we are going to revise that story. With your story, first revise it, okay? The legend that you create, is it already a legend that is great? No. With the legend, the myth, or the fairy tale that you wrote, that story, you have it already because I already checked the homeworks and you already sent it to me, but we have to edit it and revise it because we don't know if everything that we write was good or it needs improvement. So pay attention to this part. First of all, we can revise it. First of all, we are going to add sentences, words of vocabulary. I need you to please pay attention to this part. It says, in the heart of Guatemala, in an ancient village, there existed a field of missions where the sombrero takes place. This story remains that if you find a short man in the middle of the night dressed in black and playing his guitar, you can be in front of the sombrero. This story remains that if you find a short man, we see that it repeats, right? But let's continue. It narrates the coming and going of a short man with a huge hat and a what? Okay, and a what under his arm? What do you think is under his arm always? A guitar. So here is where it says add, okay? So we are going to add a word and we will do it with a different you can start like making the necessary corrections. So you have to read your story and make the necessary corrections. In this case, I will put a hat, a huge hat and a guitar over here. A guitar under his arm. This is the word that I added, okay? This is the word that I changed. Now, let's continue with the story. It says, remove words or sentences, okay? Remove. If you see here, we see that it repeats, okay? This story remains that we can be in front of the sombrero. This part is going to be, we already say it one time. So what we are going to be doing right now is that we will remove it, okay? This means that we will erase that, that part, okay? So how you can erase it? You can make a line, you can take it away. So if you see, I take it off. I already take it off. So I remove it. Now move or rearrange sentences or words. We see that the introduction of this story, the beginning of the story is okay because we already see this part. Let's go ahead with this one. Carlos had a deep who is Carlos, right? We don't know who is Carlos. So first of all, we need to check if all the paragraphs are in order. So we are here moving, right? Carlos had a deep infatuation with a young and beautiful, this is a mistake, but we are not checking that yet. woman named Maria. Her long glowing hair was dark as the night itself, and her eyes sparkled like the stars. Yet it was not her beauty alone that drew Carlos in, but the sweetness of her spirit and the kindness in her heart. He was entranced by her, consumed by a love that knows bounds. Okay, then the next paragraph says, long ago, in a time when the world was a tapestry of ancient customs and beliefs, there lived a dashing and enigmatic man named Carlos. Okay, so if you see, this must be up, right? Because if not, the story is disorganized. So you can move. If you see that your story is already organized, do not worry, you don't touch anything. But if it is not organized, you have to change. Now it makes more sense. Then the story continues. If you see, it has the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story, okay? So that's the first thing that you have to do. You can put pause to the video and check your story. Read it and check if you need to add something, if you need to remove something, like to delete it, to take it away because it doesn't make sense or because you repeat it. Move something, like if it doesn't make sense, if you have the beginning, the middle, and the end, but it doesn't make sense, you can move the sentences. So you can use a pencil or a pen with a different color. It can be red or it can be any other color in order to correct it, okay? Now, let's go ahead with the other part. We are going to edit our story. How do we do it? Now we check on the mistakes. And how do we do it? Capitalize first. Check all of the sentences in your story. Here is one mistake because Guatemala is a proper name. So you need to put it with a capital letter, right? So we change it with a capital letter. So if you see, I already changed it over here. I put the capital letter that was missing because we capitalize sentences at the beginning of each sentence in proper names and proper nouns and the pronoun I, right? So that is what we will change. Now, with the usage is a little bit different. Match nouns and verbs, as for example, the cat runs. The cat runs is correct. The cats run is correct. But if we put the cat run is not correct, right? It's like to check that the pronoun makes sense with the verb. As for example, to win her heart, Carlos will visit her nightly. El sombrerón was a trickster and his antics grew. Okay, so let's see. Where can we see it? So you have to check your story and you have to check that this story makes sense, okay? Like if it matches each pronoun with the verb. As for example, named Carlos with a charm that could melt the coldest heart and a talent for serenade the ladies with his guitar. She was the toast of the town. But are we talking about a girl or a boy? We were talking about Carlos. So is correct that we put she? I don't think so. So you remove, you put he. So that's what you have to do in usage. If you want to pause the video and check in your story, you can do it, okay? Now, the punctuations. The punctuations are in each sentence. Look, it narrates the coming and going of a short man with a huge hat and a guitar under his arms. His boots are so noisy, so the capitalization in this case, we can put a period, or if you want to put a comma because it is the continue part of the sentence, his boots are noisy and the belt is so shiny, period. The hat almost completely covers his face. So you see the punctuation of each word. You need to check that all the story has the periods in the correct space, okay? Now, let's pay attention to the next thing. Now we already see that, right? Now, let's see the last thing, punctuation. Here is spelling, sorry. Check all the words. You can use a dictionary or you can use the resources that you have at home. Why? Because as for example, over here, a huge hat. Do we write hat that way? I don't think so. So that's why we change it, okay? Hat is with H. So that's where you check all of the words. So you go order by order. So you are checking, revising your guitar. You see, there is another mistake over here. So in this case, you need to change, look beautiful. You don't write beautiful like that, you write beautiful like this. So in your story, you need to change all the mistakes that you can find. You need to check that everything has capital letters and that everything is correct. To win hair, not hair, right? Hair, heart. So you see, everything over here is correct. So you just need to change the mistakes that are on your story. That's what you have to do. So when you already have everything corrected, look, this is a mess because I see here that there were some markers or some periods with a different color. So what you will do right now in your notebook is the next thing, and that's what you will deliver. You will have to write it's not your final result, but after you revise it and you edit it, write the story without any mistake. This is not going to be your final result, but this is going to be the last draft that you will make of the story. So rewrite it again with good handwriting. I don't want to see big handwriting or little handwriting. No, I need to see the cursive handwriting and the story again in order. It's not a poem, so we don't write it in the center. We come from the beginning of the line to the end of the line. If you want to write it with colors, is your choice, but this is not your final result, okay? You do it with pencil. So that's what we will do in this period. Edit and revise the story that you created. And what you have to send to me, the first thing, is the story before and after. So I need to check the story that you did with the corrections, and I need to check the story that you already correct. Like you need to send it to pictures, okay? So that would be for this period. So please check the second video because it's about another class.